What is a not fun fact? The reason you're supposed to contact a doctor if you have an erection lasting longer than 4 hours is because prolonged priapism can lead to gangrene of the dick. Blood goes in, deoxygenates, but can't leave, so there's no way for fresh oxygenated blood to come in, causing the tissue to turn black and die. Don't worry, though. This can be treated by using a big syringe to suck the trapped blood out. There are 8 unaccounted for American nukes and literally an unknown quantity of missing Soviet nukes that range all the way from warheads to suitcase bombs. Horses can't throw up, so if they eat something bad or get a bad gas bubble, they just lay down and die. A certain type of anglerfish reproduce via the male burrowing into the side of the female, eventually fusing. The male life is lost in the process. When you get a sunburn, it's actually your cells dying, so they don't get tumorous. Valentine's Day is a holiday with one of the highest suicide rates. People who commit suicide by jumping off a bridge, those who don't die from the impact, drown because the impact breaks enough bones that prevents them from swimming. There is a mysterious illness called the sweating sickness that hit in multiple small epidemics in the early modern era. It was incredibly contagious and massively deadly, with about a 50% average death rate, but it could be higher. It began with an ominous sense of apprehension, followed by severe pains in the neck and giddiness. They then abruptly stopped and switched to heavy sweating, headaches and delirium. Finally, the person was hit with an extreme urge to sleep, and it was thought to be fatal if you fell to it. We know almost nothing about it, nothing about how it spread, how it was caused, only that if you got it, you were either surviving or dead within 24 hours. There are horror stories of people leaving town on hunting trips and returning the same day to find almost everybody in the village dead, with only a few scattered survivors. The worst thing was, you did not gain immunity. You could live through the sweating sickness once and then get it a few days later and die. Or live through it 2 or 3 times, and then get it and die. It was horrific, and we don't know why it disappeared, and we don't know if it will ever return. In the United States, roughly 1/3 of all food is thrown away each year. The lemmings are not suicidal, and the documentary What Film Did was actually showing lemmings getting thrown down a cliff because they needed the scene, but couldn't make the animals do it. If you eat a polar bear liver, you will die. Humans can't handle that much vitamin A. There is a genetic disease called FOP, where your muscles and tissue turn to bone, often called human statue disease. Eventually people may have to decide whether they want to become frozen in a sitting or flat/standing position. If you are an identical twin, it is possible that you and your siblings' identities were swapped, and your parents never caught it. You can smell your own lungs. Your brain just filters out the smell. Spider rain, you read that right, is a real and naturally occurring phenomenon. Urine was used for teeth whitening and bleaching of clothes in ancient Rome. Yes, they rinsed their mouth with human and animal urine. Some perfumes, or more specifically, musks you use, come from the anal and secretion glands of musk deers and civet cats. In 2017, 10,000 people died awaiting their disability decision. Cute, fuzzy little sea otters are known to rape baby seals to death. People with extreme scurvy start to have all of their old wounds open up. Everything with a scar is held together via an active process with collagen, and without vitamin C just sort of stop. Penguins rape the hell out of anything that looks vaguely penguin-like or doesn't move. In fact, it was so rampant that the 1910-13 Scott Antarctic expedition decided it was best not to bring it up, so society wouldn't have to deal with the issue it would bring up. Scientists witnessed males having sex with other males, and also with dead females, including several that had died the previous year. He also saw them sexually coerce females and chicks and occasionally kill them. The scientists blamed this astonishing depravity on hooligan males, and wrote down his observations in Greek, so that only an educated gentleman would understand the horrors he had witnessed. In Australia there is a plant called the gympie which has such a severe sting that horses who brush against it throw themselves off cliffs, because they'd rather die than continue to experience the pain. Migraines and strokes carry a lot of the same symptoms, so if you suffer regular migraines you may not notice you're actually dying one day. The FBI estimates there are between 25 to 50 active serial killers in the US at any given time. Bus seats are designed so that you cannot tell how dirty they really are. Your intestines will wriggle themselves back into the correct position. Doctors who do any type of intestinal surgery don't have to worry too much about how they put the intestines back in. Male dolphins like to hunt fertile female in groups and hound them because they are unwilling. The females are often injured during this, some even die. Climbing Mount Everest has a 6.5% mortality rate. What's more harrowing is that if you die, you will most likely be left there. There's currently over 200 dead bodies on Everest that are irretrievable and now serve as markers for other climbers. Not a bad place to eternally rest, but upsetting for those left behind who can't give you a proper burial. Rabies is terrifying. You can get it and not even know it from bats, which live across the globe. It might hit you right away, it might be in 3 years. But it doesn't matter, because once symptoms set in, you're already dead. Greifswald Nuclear Power Plant, 1976, the almost Chernobyl of East Germany. In short, due to a short circuit resulting in a fire, almost all coolant pumps failed. The New York Times says, a Chernobyl-scale nuclear disaster was prevented only when a single water pump in the emergency cooling system was able to draw off pressurized water heated to high temperature by the decay heat left in the reactor's core, thus preventing a meltdown. This incident became public with reunification in 1989. If a hamster gets too stressed, it will eat its kids. It was once thought for birds, parrots, magpies, to learn to talk, you had to release their tongue. This was done by cutting their tongue completely or partly off, of course without any anesthesia or painkillers. The tongue release plays absolutely no role in the bird's ability to talk. A man once had a tapeworm get cancer. That cancer metastasized, and the man died from tumors of tapeworm throughout his entire body. The #1 cause of death among pregnant women is murder. The search and rescue dogs on 9/11 were getting so sad from finding only dead bodies. The human helpers buried themselves in the rubble so that the dogs could find them and be happy. The little girl who voiced Ducky in the first Land Before Time was murdered by her father before the movie came out. Her gravestone says yep yep yep. According to the World Bank Group, the world produces about 2 billion tons of garbage every year. Despite being the largest mammal, blue whales do not have large assholes. They defecate with an anus the size of a grapefruit. Be sure to like and subscribe for more reading Reddit videos. Thanks, bye.